We've talked some specifics on both offense and defense. Let's get into something that's a little bit more general. Over the next month, the team's going to be playing on the field, practicing in spring ball, and you'll hear a lot about it. But Tal, how important is what goes on between now and April 14th, the spring game?
It's a time for players to separate themselves, put themselves in a position early for that way when they go into fall camp, they've already established themselves and they can go forth and just learn the defense or offensive schemes. It's very important.
You know, the coaches are looking for specific things here, but you got to look at the numbers. There's about 100 kids out right now on the team. They're going to be bringing in about 30 new guys in the fall. They can only have 117 or 18 on the roster. So you know there's going to be some guys out there right now that are never going to see the field.
Right.
They're basically space savers. You know, they need to have some depth on the offensive line, other positions, so they can scrimmage, so they can do drills. But occasionally a guy will break through. That's what happened with Ben Criddle. He was a walk-on. He broke through. Now he's a starter. That happens. But for the most part, you're going to see a lot of guys, for instance, carrying the ball. You might see Ray Hudson carry the ball a lot in spring ball. You may not see him get a carry during the regular season because of the guys that are injured. Right. So it's important individually to some guys, and it's important to the coaches because they're looking for specific things. But in the overall scheme, it doesn't matter as much as fall camp does, for sure.
I think it's going to be more significant this year because of what you touched on. They're deeper at almost every position this year going into spring ball. I mean, last few years they haven't even been able to play a true blue and white game because they didn't have enough depth on the O-line and the D-line. This year they got tons of depth. And with that depth, you're going to have a lot of guys that are going to be able to go in and prove their worth and establish themselves for fall, wherein in the past you're just waiting for guys to come in and fall to supplement what they didn't have in spring. This spring it's a lot different.
People are looking to make a name for themselves, whether they're walk-ons or whether the guys coming in as freshmen off missions or whatnot. And you know, with the quality and talent at the depth of these specific positions, such as quarterback, such as linebacker, these guys are looking to make a name. This is a chance for guys coming in and say, hey, you know, I meet all the requirements. Coach Mendenhall, I meet all these requirements. Put me in. I'm ready to go. Come fall practice. A little bit less of deciding who's going to be in position to start and whatnot. I think that'll be kind of settled out. I think coaches kind of have a good idea, but now it's time for players to distinguish themselves and let themselves know, hey, this is who I am, coach.
Guys, let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, as a fan, how much attention should I pay to what I'm hearing about spring ball? Brandon?
Well, for us and our benefit, 10. A lot. but no, it's not. The rosters aren't going to be set after spring practices, absolutely, obviously. But if you want to know how the team's growing developmental-wise, I mean, there's specific positions where players can really make names for themselves. So it's very important. I mean, they wouldn't have spring practice if it wasn't important, obviously. And
yeah, Bronco wants to name a starting quarterback at the end of spring, so that position is extremely important. But he did say yesterday that if it doesn't separate, if he doesn't see somebody with obvious is ahead of the other guy, if Max Hall's not obviously ahead of Cade Cooper, they may run this into the fall. Yeah. So it's very important for guys like Cade and guys like Max to separate themselves at this point. And so that's worth watching for sure, a 10 for that.
So on the scale, it's a 10.
For
Very
us,
important
it's a 10.
for spring.
For us, it's a 10. Absolutely.
I don't see how it couldn't be. I mean, watching guys progress, seeing where they're at physically, seeing where they're at mentally early on, only gives guys that much more of an advantage coming into fall camp. I think it's vital.
So a 10, but focusing on individuals, not on the overall team.
Yeah. Not as important as fall.
Not as important as fall.
Okay.